Hello everyone, I am Michael Esson and this is episode 8 of the Permolate Freelance Training titled Measurement and Quotation. You need to pay rapt attention to what you'll be taught. Now there are basic working tools when it comes to taking of measurement. What do we mean measurement? Just like a tailor needs to take your measurement to be able to ascertain, the cloth that will be enough for the style you want to sew. The same thing, you need to know how to measure a client size, the inside, the outside, so that you can know the quantity of paint that will be required for the job. That's how to be a professional in this place. You don't just look around and say, 10 buckets. Because of the new technology of our paint, each bucket has, the area it can cover. Yes, each bucket, you will see that in the price list we're going to send to you. And you have to measure the area to know the quantity of buckets so that you don't undercoat and you don't overcoat, so that there will be no shortage and there will be no excess in your quotation. That's what makes you a professional. That will help you, to retain your clients and give them a wonderful service. Now, in taking measurement, you need a tool called the measurement tape. This is the measurement tape, and it's the manual measurement tape. You can start with this. If you see, we have them in different shapes and sizes when you go into the market, but I like to use this. I've been using it for years and I've gotten good results. So you pull it out. If you observe, you will see that the measurement tape is calibrated on both sides. Okay, it's calibrated. On this side is the meter reading, while on the other side is the feet and inches reading, but we use the meter reading, okay, when it comes to taking the coverage. You can use the feet and inches, but it's better to use the meter reading because the unit is per square meter where you'll be measuring. It's going to be in per square meter. Yes, I have a digital tape. Most of you will not be able to have access to this, but we have this as a company and we use it. It makes work faster for us. But you can get this for a start, okay? You will still get the same result. It's just that when you use the digital tape, this is a digital tape. It's a laser measurement device. As you can see, it comes out with this light, and with this you can get without walking around, because with the tape you have to run the tape round, as you will see in the course of this training. But with the laser device, you just need to point, and it will tell you the meters from where you're standing to where you're pointing at. Okay, thank you. Now, this is where we want to use for the training. It's a chapel. We're excluding the altar area. The altar area of the chapel is already cladded, with gold aluco bond. Now, where we're concerned with is the rest wall, and this is what the client wants. He said, "I want your silk paint, the Nanomax paint, on the rest wall of my chapel. Then I want your pure whitening paint on the POP. I spent a lot of money to put this POP together, and I want it to come out white. Then the two pillars in the center, I want your decorative marble texture paint. How do you go about it?" It's very simple. Now we're going to start from the wall. The first thing you have to get is the length of the wall. You have to get the length of the wall. You have to use your tape. You pick a starting point and begin to run the tape through the length of the wall. And sometimes the tape might not be able to get to the entire length of the wall, so you have to break it into two like I did. This is quite a spacious area. So I did the first running. I got to a point and the reading I got is 26.6 meters. Then I took the concluding part and I got 10.6 meters. Put together, the length of the wall is 37.2 meters. Now, the next thing you're going to need is the height of the wall, okay? The height of the wall. And it's really high. The wall is really high. I need a support. So I had to look around for a stick. If you can use a ladder, fine. But if you can get a very long stick, it will help you to get to the tip, the connection between the wall and the POP, or the wall and the decking, as the case may be. All right, but now it's the connection between the wall and the POP. So with the help of the stick, I'm able to get to the tip. I get a good point. Then I draw the tape to the edge of the tile. If you observe, there's a skirting at the base of the wall. So I stop at the edge of the tile, and the reading I got is 3.36 That is the height of the wall. Good. I've gotten two readings. The length of the wall is 37.2. The height of the wall is 3.36. You can get the area of the wall. How do you get it? Length times breadth. Because if you stretch out the wall, you're going to get a rectangular shape. And we're taught in school, if you want to get the area of a rectangle is what? Length times breadth. So the same thing with the wall. You have gotten the length of the wall. You have gotten the height of the wall. Then what is the area of the wall? Length times breadth. That is 37.2 times the height, which is 3.36. If you press that on your calculator, you will get 124.99 square meters. Simple. That is the coverage area of the wall. 124.99 square meters. Now, something is left. If you observe, there are windows, and those windows are not going to be painted. Those windows are not going to be painted. There's a door. That door, it's a fairly big door, and there are windows. So what you're going to do is you have to measure these areas and remove them. You have to measure the door, remove it. And if you observe, there are two different sizes of window. So you have to measure them by their size. It's quite some work. But at the end, you'll be glad that you're delivering a quotation that has integrity to your client. Because sometimes clients verify. If you give them a measurement, they will go and call another person to come and verify. And if they discover that you're not giving them what is correct, it's going to reduce or take away your chances of getting that job. So you have to do it with all commitment. It's not a waste of time. All right, so the door, the length of the door, to get the area of the door, because you have to get the area of the door, then subtract the area of the door from the total surface area of the environment. Now, the length of the door in this case is 1.3, and the height of the door is 2.3. If you multiply it, the surface area of the door is 2.99. Now, let's go to the window. There are 4 small windows and 2 big windows. So we just take the measurement of one small window and multiply it by 4. And the measurement is 0.7 for the length, and the height is 2.1. If you multiply that and multiply it by 4, because there are 4 small windows, you're going to get 5.88. Then the second big window is quite a big window. So I have to get something to get the height of the window, which is 2.6, as you can see on your screen. Then the length of the window is 1.5. If you multiply 1.5 and 2.6 and multiply it by 2 windows, you're going to get 7.8. Now we've been able to establish something. Just take it easy, take a deep breath. It's not difficult. Very easy. You've gotten the total surface area of the wall. You've gotten the total surface area of the window. You've gotten the total surface area of the door. What are you going to do? You will add the total surface area of the places you're not painting, the window and the door together. That will give you 108.32 square meters. We have it. Now, that's where we're going to all the while. So the coverage area of the space to be painted in the chapel that the client is wanting us to do is 108.32 square meters. You can take a deep breath and relax, but that's not all. How do we now quantify the paint that will be needed to cover this area of the wall? Very easy. Now you're going to be painting that wall. You're going to be coating it at least 2 times. What I mean is, when you put on, maybe you want blue color, or you want brown color, or you want chocolate or ultramarine. Now you're going to coat it 2 times. You're going to put the first coat, then you're going to come back and put the second coat. Most times, just twice. Coating it twice is enough. That means you cover 108.32 square meters the first time, and cover another 108.32 square meters the second time. You're covering it 2 times. That means you're requiring a paint that will be able to cover 108.32 times 2. You're looking for a paint that will be able to cover 216.64 square meters. Now, our paint, we said, is new technology paint. It is ISO, is certified by the world-renowned ISO. Now, each bucket of our paint, each size, has its coverage capacity written in figures. What we mean is, if the 15 liters of our paint, we know how many square meters it can cover. The minimum it can cover, the maximum it can cover, and the average we're expecting it to cover. Like our silk paint, our Nanomax paint covers between 180 to 270 square meters depending on the surface. It can cover up to 270 square meters. The average coverage that it has is 225. What I mean the average is if you add the lowest coverage and the highest coverage together and you divide by 2, you're going to get the average coverage of each bucket. Are we together? And the lowest is 180, the highest is 270. You add it together, you have 225. Now we've been able to establish another figure. Remember, we had 108.32. From there, we got 216.64. Now we have 225. 3 figures. How did we get them? You have to go over the lesson again and again. It's very easy. It's something that when you get, you have it, and you can, assess a site, prepare a quotation that has integrity. Okay? Yes. So now we've been able to get the average coverage that a bucket of our 15 liters can cover. What do we do with these figures? Now, the next thing to do to know the quantity of buckets required to cover the area you want to cover is you're going to carry the figure of the area you want to cover and divide it by the average coverage of the buckets. Okay? That's the formula now. Very easy, as you're seeing on your screen. Now, the area we want to cover is 216.64. How did I get that? I multiplied the coverage area by 2 because we're quoting it 2 times. Now, so it's going to be 216.64 square meters divided by 225 square meters. And what you're going to come up with is 0.96, which is almost 1. That means you're going to need 1 bucket of our 15 liters to cover the rest wall of the chapel. Simple. 1 bucket of our 15 liters. That's what it means. 1 bucket. If you go through the lessons, you will know how we got that. So in your quotation, you can just write it down as you're seeing on your screen. Chapel rest wall. The coverage of the wall is 108.32. Then in the column for the quantity of paint, you write 1 bucket of 15 liters Nanomax interior paint. Then in the column for the unit price, currently we sell at 30,500. 30,500. And in the column for the amount, 30,500 times 1 is 30,500. Now let's go. The next one is the pillar. You take the width of the pillar, which is 1.35. Then the height of the pillar is 3.35. If you multiply it, you will get the coverage area of the pillar. And there are 2 pillars, remember? So if you multiply the width of the pillar, 1.35, times the height of the pillar, 3.35, you're going to get 4.52. And there are 2 pillars. So 4.52 times 2 is 9.05 square meters. That means the coverage area of the 2 pillars is 9.05 square meters. And the client wants our decorative marble texture paint, as you have seen in the previous episodes, the one that is glassy, because it's a chapel. You can even advise your clients. They can use our marble paint. It's perfect. It reflects light. It's a place of worship. It's a place of prayer. You need to, invest in the place, in that environment. So how do we do it? Currently, we sell our decorative marble paint per square meter. So in the place of the space, you write chapel pillar. In the coverage column, in the column for the coverage, in square meters, you're going to write 9.05. Then in the column for the quantity of paint, you're just going to write decorative marble texture paint. Then in the column for unit price, you write 3,000 per square meter. In the last column, which is the column for the amount, you're going to multiply the coverage, which is 9.05, and the cost per square meter, which is 3,000 naira per square meter. So you're going to get 27,150 naira. Simple. You get the width of the pillar, the height of the pillar, you multiply, you get the coverage for 1 pillar, multiply by 2, there are 2 pillars, you get the total coverage, then multiply by the unit price, depending on the paint you want. Then you get the cost, which is 27,150 naira, very cheap. for those two pillars. Now we've gotten the quantity of paint for the rest wall of the chapel. We've gotten the quotation for the pillar of the chapel. What is left? The POP of the chapel. And it's very easy. You take the length and the width. You just measure the length and the width. You use your floor space to measure the POP, okay? So as you can see me running the tape, I'm taking the length of the POP, and you really have to give very good attention when you're measuring the POP, because it's not as flat as the wall. Sometimes they have designs, and you might not be able to capture those designs in your measurements, but you need to be able to capture them when you're doing your quantification, okay? Because you're going to do a lot of brush, you're going to use a lot of brush, and you need to add some quantity when you're coating so that there's no shortage. All right, so the length, after measuring the length for the POP, we got 10.7 meters, and the breadth is 8.3 meters in the breadth. All right, if you multiply the two together, is 88.81 square meters. And you'll be coating twice, just like we did for the wall. So you multiply again by 2. You're going to get 177.62 square meters. The 20 kg of our pure white ceiling paint covers between 188 to 123 square meters. Now, if you add the 88 and the 123 together, you get 211. If you divide it by 2, the average coverage of our POP is 105 square meters per 20 kg bucket. Now, what we want to cover is approximately 178 square meters for the POP. Remember, what we got is 88.81. You multiplied by 2 because you're coating twice. We got 177.62. Now, the average coverage is 105 square meters. What do we do? 177.62 divide by, you divided by 105 square meters. You're going to get 1.69, okay? 1.69. That means 1 bucket and 0.69 buckets, which is approximately 2 buckets. Is it too much? No. You can comfortably make it 2 buckets. Why? If you observe, the POP has a lot of designs, okay? It has a lot of designs, and you need to, make paint to touch everywhere. So you need to add some quantity while you're coating for the POP. In case you don't understand what I'm talking about, go over the lesson again, and you'll be able to get it. If you go over the lesson again and again, it will be deeply ingrained in you. So what have we concluded? We are taking 2 buckets of the 20 kg pure white ceiling paint. So we're going back to our quotation sheet. Yes, so item 3, in the space we write POP. Then in the coverage column, in the column for coverage, you write 88.81 square meters. Then in the column for quantity of paint, you write 2 buckets of 20 kg Permolate pure white ceiling paint. Then in the column for unit price, we currently, as at the date of this training, but you need to get yourself updated with changes in price. But we currently sell for 18,750 naira. 18,750 naira. So 2 of them will be 18,750 times 2, which will bring you to 37,500. Our quotation is complete, right? No, it's not complete. Yes, the last thing is the wall. During the course of our training, we talked about wall preparation. You have to use binder on the wall. So you have to add 1 gallon of binder will be okay. And you still have leftover for that chapel. So 1 gallon of binder is 9,000 naira. Now let's do the additions together. 30,500 plus 27,150 plus 37,500 plus 9,000 naira will bring us to a total of 104,150 naira. Wow, that is all. 104,150 naira is the cost of paint for the rest wall of the chapel. It's going to cover using our silk paint on the wall, using our decorative marble paint on the 2 pillars, and using our pure white ceiling paint for the POP. You can just, add our bank details on the quotation, put a little introduction, and you're good to go. If your client sees this, the client will be comfortable, to work with you because he knows that this person is not trying to cheat me. Thank you. I hope you got it. And in case you didn't get it, you need to go over the training again. You'll get it very easy. Thank you.